Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help mental health professionals grow their dream practices and live a life they love. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building tips. We invite you to take advantage of our private practice paperwork and our signature marketing e-course. And we have a gift for you. This is the exact methodology we use to create our six-figure private pay practices and have helped many other therapists do the same. Go to privatepracticestartup.com and on the homepage, click the button to download a free copy of your dream private practice playbook. Now on to today's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. Wow, as I'm getting prepped for this podcast today, I'm looking at our podcast number, and we are almost in the 300 episode. That is crazy. I remember Kate and I eagerly waiting for hitting podcast episode 100 and thinking like, what should we do for episode 100? And here we are almost into the 300s. And really none of that could be possible without you all and being a loyal listener. So if you're a loyal listener, welcome back. If you're new to our podcast, we hope that you find a home here and stay here. Our podcast really consists of, talking about stuff in business, stories, success stories, perspectives. And today we're tackling something that's really important that most therapists loathe to do. Many therapists would say, if I could just do therapy and not have to do, you guessed it, paperwork, documentation, and notes, things would be much easier. So we are actually going to talk to you guys today about how to stay on top of your notes. So we hope we offer some quick, fun tips and gain a new perspective of getting those notes done so you can get on with your life and not have to worry about that stuff in the background. Before we get started, we just wanted to take a quick moment for our sponsor.
Practice Solutions is a full-service billing company that specializes in the mental health industry. They've worked with private practice clients ranging from solo practitioners just starting their practice to larger group practices with multiple clinicians. Practice Solutions has even helped a few of their clients to be able to grow from a single clinician to a thriving group practice with multiple locations. This is due to their mission of alleviating the burden of billing to free up your time so you can spend it with clients and on building your practice. Practice Solutions billers all have many years of experience in insurance billing and have helped clinicians to get stubborn claims to process, in some instances recouping thousands of dollars worth of claims. If you're looking for a friendly and reliable billing expert to add to your team, reach out to Practice Solutions by filling out a contact form at practicesol.com. That's practicesol.com/startupnation or calling 734-437-9432 extension 709.
So hey everybody, we are Kate and Katie, the co-owners of the Private Practice Startup, and we want to bring this podcast to you today to just help you along the way, because I know we talk a lot about business and marketing, but this is, like I said, the bane of many therapists' existence when it comes to practice. So let's dive right on in.
Yes, and it's interesting because we talk about the attorney-approved private practice paperwork and the importance of having your documentation covered, being protected, making sure that your paperwork meets the legal and ethical standards of our profession. But we've actually never done an episode, just Katie and I, talking about tips for getting your notes done. So we're coming back to the basics because this is something that every single therapist has to do. And most clinicians, like Katie was saying, cannot stand it. I used to hate writing the notes, but I am a type A person and it would give me so much anxiety if I had notes hanging over my head when I left the office at the end of the day. So I had set a commitment for myself that I would always get my notes done unless there was an emergency. I think there was a couple of times I had to leave the office because of having a sick kid and having to rush out. And, it just gives me anxiety to have that stuff hanging over my head. And I know there's a lot of therapists out there who are probably listening thinking, oh, geez, I wish I was able to knock them out every single day, because with all the therapists that we talk to in private practice, this is a major pain point. And sometimes therapists will let them build up to be a big mountain that they have to climb and have to tackle. And that is something that is anxiety provoking, because you never know if and when you're going to get audited. You never know if and when, God forbid, something were to happen to you. And then, all of this is, or there's a crisis in your family, and then the notes just pile up and pile up and pile up. So we want to tell you our first tip is, like Nike says, just do it. Just do it. Set that commitment to yourself. Make sure that you carve out the time, preferably in between your sessions, so that you can have a moment to breathe and complete your notes. Katie, what do you want to add?
No, I think that's great. And one thing I was going to add to the stuff that you were talking about before is it might not just be an emergency with you, but a client emergency or crisis that you actually need to reflect back on your notes to assure that you documented properly so you can speak to that. Or if you have to like write a report for court, like you don't want too much time to go by and that stuff not to be fresh in your head. And especially during a critical incident. So like that's another aspect of it. And I know we say just do it might be easy, easier said than done. And we get it. Because if you're already struggling with notes, you're like, well, if I could just do what I would. But I know for me, a lot of times that 10 minutes in between session would be writing a note. And I would do a lot of the bulk of the note writing or getting stuff down with the client. Kate and I actually offered 2 different templates with our paperwork that helps you structure things. And so I think one of the things is if you don't have a structure already, just make sure that you have a structure. That's going to make it easier to do. Have a clear system for yourself, whether it's through, an EHR or your own type of system, whether you do SOAP, DAP, whatever it is that you do, just be consistent with your system because that's going to help you do it. And I know for me, that 10 minutes in between was almost simultaneously, which might be too much TMI for you all, but it was like grabbing a snack and going to the bathroom and writing up notes, like all simultaneously sometimes. But no, I think it's important. And I'm very much like Kate, like that would just be too anxiety provoking because then it would just add up and I'd have to do these notes and it would just be exhausting. So for me, it was like make a new commitment. And my commitment was I wouldn't leave the office until my notes were done. Now, if you feel like you have a hard time getting that done, well, look at your day. Do you see clients right back to back? Do you give yourself a break? Maybe you start taking a break in the middle of half your clients and do your notes then. Or maybe you make a commitment to yourself to schedule an hour or 30 minutes before your last client. And that becomes the time you do your notes or make your calls or whatever it is that you're going to do. Is you have to kind of rework your time and your schedule to trick yourself a little bit, but also increase the habits of that. I recently read a great book I highly recommend called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he talks a lot about stuff and creating habits. He goes through his own methodology and like 4 different things. And one of the things is making that new habit attractive and easy. So how can you rework your day, restructure your time to make it attractive and easy for you? I'll definitely put his information into our show notes page in case you guys wanted to check out his book on Audible or whatever. It was really, really great for sure. Another thought that we have, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. I like that you brought up the schedule because that is something that people oftentimes don't think about connecting to notes, right? But it has everything to do with your notes. And so to zoom out and look at your schedule, are you connected to your ideal schedule? Is that something that you are actually staying true to? That is something that's really, really important, not only with how many clients you're seeing in a day, but the types of clients. Are you seeing the clients that you love to work with? Are you charging a rate that allows you to take the breaks that you need to and not have to pack a gazillion clients into every single day where you can't get your notes done because you're not allowing yourself to get paid what you're worth for your time? So in addition to, yes, we're talking about the just do it and get your notes done, looking at the schedule, making sure that you're living in alignment with your dream life, your ideal clients, your ideal schedule, and then also charging the fee that you want to charge with your clients, something that is going to allow you to take breaks and to have that ideal schedule so that you're not setting yourself up for burnout and being completely overwhelmed with packing too many clients in and not having time for breaks and self-care and notes.
And Kate, I love that you say that because, we often talk about working on your business, not in your business. And when you just take a step back and take a wider view, and it's interesting, like asking yourself a question about your schedule, does this work for you in your ideal life, might even prompt some new behavior changes that you didn't even realize, right? So that's one thing in regards to notes. I know recently another book I listened to was The Automatic Millionaire. And I asked myself, like, are even small stuff in my life is automated, right? So for whatever reason, the people that do our lawn want us to write a check. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, who writes a check nowadays? So I called them and I'm like, look, I want to automate everything. And she's like, well, do you have this, that? And I didn't realize that even if I automate something, the bank can send a check, not me. So I put that stuff on automated, and now lawn care is paid for the end of the year, and I don't even have to think about it. It's very important. So how can, are there other things in your daily life or schedule that are taking up your time? Now, I know you're wishing can someone create an app to automate my notes? That would be amazing. I know lots of EHRs actually help with that, pulling your interventions and objectives and goals, right? But you do have to write the bulk of your notes. So for now, what other areas can you automate? So it's not looking so microly at what it is that we're focusing on. Maybe we look at other areas to help you for sure. Let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor. Is managing your practice stressing you out? Then try Therapy Notes. It makes notes, billing, scheduling, and telehealth a whole lot easier. Check it out and you will quickly see why Therapy Notes is the highest rated EHR on trustpilot.com. With over 1,200 verified customer reviews and an average customer rating of 4.9 out of 5 stars, you'll notice the difference from the first day you sign up for their free trial. They offer live phone support 7 days a week. So when you have questions, you can quickly reach someone who can help, and you're never wasting your time looking for answers. If you're coming from another EHR, they make that transition really easy. Therapy Notes will import your client's demographic data free of charge during your trial, so you can get going right away. Use the promo code PPS, as in Private Practice Startup, that's PPS, to get 2 free months to try out Therapy Notes for free with no strings attached. And remember, telehealth is included with every subscription, absolutely free. Make 2022 the best year yet with Therapy Notes.
Let's face it, the working world looks different than it ever has. Whether you're a brick and mortar private practice or an online practice, taking care of your team couldn't be more important. That's where Gusto comes in. Gusto's modern HR platform makes it easy to hire, pay, manage, and support your employees or independent contractors all in one place. That means no more jumping between applications and no more jumping through hoops. Your payroll, benefits, hiring, and onboarding, team management tools, and so much more are all in one convenient place. On top of that, Gusto provides actionable insights to inform decisions around workforce costing, competitive compensation, and employee engagement. So all these tough decisions you make each day as a business owner just got a whole lot easier. The best part? Listeners of our podcast get 3 free months of Gusto by going to gusto.com/PPS.
One of the other things that we want to talk about is leveraging people and technology. And we've already kind of been alluding to that a little bit with EHRs, EMRs, whatever. Utilize that and understand that. And sometimes if you're not as familiar or comfortable with it, create, like a dummy file or a test file and kind of go through that and see what works best for you. I know sometimes when we're trying to do something quickly and getting it done, sometimes, again, this is stepping back and working on your business. One of the favorite things, and this kind of hits on 2 different points. One of my old interns, again, doing notes, I feel like doing notes and getting notes done is like a conversation that will be had through generations to come and generations past. So many times we would talk about this in supervision because it is an important thing, because the flip side of that is getting your notes done actually creates better clinical outcomes. It does, because you're on top of your notes, you're clear, you're writing them after your session. So you're more clear on when your client comes in, what did you work on? What were they working on? And it's easier to pick up. But if you're not writing that down and not documenting it, sometimes you can miss things. So leveraging people, right? So if you do work in a group practice or you have therapist colleagues, have some fun with it. Make a commitment to each other or, gamify it. So one of my old interns, what they did when she was working in a substance abuse facility, they actually began to gamify their notes, which was setting a time limit for each note, which was 10 minutes. And then whoever got their notes done first, the other person had to buy lunch for that day. So that was a great way to leverage people, gamify it, and be creative of how to get their notes done.
Yeah, or setting up a personal reward for yourself. If you tackle all of your notes and you leave the office at the end of the week, whether it's on Thursday or Friday or whatever your last day is, that you get to treat yourself to something, you get to splurge on something over the weekend. Maybe it's food, maybe if it's a drink, maybe it's an experience, maybe it's going to the movies, whatever it is, it's created as that reward system for yourself and something to be able to reward yourself for accomplishing that.
And the other thing too, and this is when I was in management and leadership, I would actually teach a lot of my staff to do notes with their clients. This definitely takes some time and some comfort and being able to do this, but it is a great way for them to even have more buy-in to what you guys are doing in therapy. It actually allows summary to happen, right? So let's kind of talk about what we summarized here today. What were the highlights? What's the next step that you're going to do? What am I going to do? What are the results, the outcomes, et cetera? And what should we look forward to next time? And of course, scheduling your next appointment. So it might take a little bit of practice. You can definitely practice with a colleague, or if you have a client that you feel comfortable with, it's easy to say, hey, I'm trying something new for my practice that I feel is going to actually offer you a better benefit, right? So if we make it about the client when we're practicing a new skill, it is easier for us and to feel comfortable. But, just to kind of be transparent about our discomfort and awkwardness about it is also helpful. And then just making the commitment to do it and get it done with your clients. And then once they leave, that note is done, maybe for a few other clicks and things like that. But overall, that would be something to help you as well.
Yes, absolutely. So we hope that this podcast was helpful and just allows you to think creatively about getting the notes done and things that you can take a step back and just change different aspects of your business life and your schedule and your, how all of this kind of interconnects together. Because when you make a small change in one area, it really does create that ripple effect in other areas of your life. And we want you to enjoy your work. We want you to enjoy your business. We want you to enjoy your life. That is the goal for being really in alignment and working on your business and not just in the business, so that you can make sure you're living that to fruition. So if you are enjoying our podcast, we would love to hear from you. We are almost at 300 episodes, like Katie said, and we always love hearing topic suggestions. Or if you would love to be on our podcast someday, reach out to us, introduce yourself, tell us your story. And we, of course, want to encourage you to subscribe, rate, and review our show. And we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.